Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of The Mating Haze by Brooke May, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Prologue. Trigger. Leave. The very last word my mother ever spoke to me echoes through me now. It wasn't endearing love or even hate, though I know she never had anything other than the most powerful motherly love for me, but something that felt like a warning. In my 14-year-old mind, I thought she didn't want me to see the cancer eat away at her in her final hours. I never did what she asked, even when my stepfather encouraged me to return to school rather than stay by her side until she was gone. Why am I thinking about this right now? What do you think, son? On a slow, hard blink, I draw my gaze away from the cooling coffee that's so still I can see my reflection in it. I'm fresh out of college, and my stepfather has offered me a job, working side by side with him to bring my kind, a possibility that none had thought of before gaining now. Son, your mother would have wanted the two of us working together to better the lives of mountain lion shifters. He ends with a whisper since we're in a cafe filled with humans and my true nature isn't worldly information. I know she would want us to work together. My gaze darts down to the coffee. But is it what my kind wants? I have absolutely no clue. Soon after he married my mother, we were moved away to live among humans and rarely ever returned to my birthright. Mother said it was because none of our family and her friends understood, and we just didn't fit in with them anymore. I had learned to accept that, aside from escaping to find a place to shift and let my wild side free along with my unique eyes. Fitting in with the human masses hasn't been too difficult. But the pain that comes when I think of my mother's unexpected passing is difficult to release. She's been gone for 10 years, and my stepfather has done everything to be the father I needed after my own passed away when I was even younger. Private school was a hard pill to swallow, considering I was pretty much a wild boy until he came into our lives. But it led to a top-rated college, and now he's offering me the position to be his right-hand man. What more could I ask for, as well as find a more perfect way to pay him back for everything he's done for me? Trigger. His hand is dwarfed by my own. Much like the apex predator I shipped into, I'm pretty massive all over. It's enough to pull me away from my coffee once again to the earnest look in his gaze. She knew how important the work I do has helped your community and would have loved to see you working alongside me. Plus, it'll help that you can come to these towns with me and form trust a little quicker. He makes a fair point. Mother never complained when he left for months on end to complete his work. And don't you go thinking that I'm going to give you any special treatment. He may sound teasing, but he's being serious. You're my son, meaning I expect more from you. You do the job perfectly and only question me occasionally if needed, and we'll work together beautifully. Yes, sir. My voice feels like sandpaper as I finally give him an answer. Aside from my few questions, I've been silent the entire time he's laid out his proposal. Do we have an agreement, my boy? His much hairier hand extends out, an offering for me to take the offer he's so kindly presenting. To the man he helped shape me into when memories of my own father are barely a flicker in my mind. I have no desire to ever disappoint this man. I'm your man, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I won't disappoint you. Taking his hand in my firm grip, I agree to help him do what needs to be done in order to help the mountain lion shifter communities in the United States and maybe someday Canada. Chapter 1. Present Day. Laramie. I have a profound sense of deja vu, but unlike any other time I've experienced this, I know exactly why it feels like this right now. It really isn't deja vu, though. That would entail I can't really recall seeing this before, when at this moment I clearly can. Today is the day Cheyenne moves out for the second and final time. I always knew her dreams of moving away and taking on her fate all by herself was ridiculous, but knowing she's leaving our childhood home, our shared bedroom to move in with her mate and a home he has built for them feels too soon. I just got you back. The complaint sounds far more childish than it did in my head. My eldest sister scoffs under her breath with the final push of the last of her clothes into the overflowing bag. She could have easily made as many trips back and forth as she wanted to get everything. It really does feel like old times. Is this your polite way of saying I told you so? Those gold-rimmed blue eyes, just like mine and all of our kind, turned to me with mirth dancing in them, because you can just say it, you know. Why would I say that when you already know that I'm always right? Getting off my twin bed with the pale purple quilt to match her pale green one, I walk over to her with a couple of boxes. I've seen relatives find their mates throughout my lifetime, but this was the first time I got to see it up close. I'm happy it happened to my eldest sister first. She needed to come home, and now she has her path figured out, so she won't be going anywhere. She's running a radio station clear up here on top of the mountain, just a 20-minute drive from her home in Longfall. Her mate is fierce in his love for her, protectiveness of her kind, and how hard he works for not just his own home, but also to help our brother Afton. Cheyenne is happier than I've ever seen her. Now, if my own path would just clear up, I can see where I'm meant to go. The fog that has surrounded me for the past few months is starting to really irritate the crap out of me. You know, I'm not going far this time. Her arms wrap around me, pulling the two of us together in more of a side hug because of our positions than a full face-to-face one. I can't really live with Blaine in Mama's home much longer. No, you certainly can't, I concede. But now I'm stuck here with Sheridan again. This makes her snort. Everyone far and wide knows the craziness that is Sheridan Mackenzie, one of our little sisters and the best mountain adventure guide in this part of the state. She's my opposite, leading us to butting heads over the most trivial things. You handled her just fine while I was in San Francisco. Her explanation doesn't help. Handled? Now it's my turn to scoff. There is no handling to Sheridan. There's just yelling at her and then rolling your eyes when she still does what she damn well pleases. I also had Afton here to help with her. There's a 4-year gap between Sheridan and myself, leaving Afton between us, but still closer to my age. He was the one to help the most with her after Cheyenne left. The perfect picture of our bikini-wearing, bad-tempered sister causes us to break out into laughter just as Cody, the youngest of the 5 of us, comes in. Need any help, Shy? She's the softest spoken of us all, mainly because she wasn't given a chance after being born last. Sheridan talked for her no matter how much we tried to shut her up. I think we have it. Cheyenne releases me and turns to the elusive Cody. But you can come to the house with me and help unpack if you have the time. Sheridan aside, River Mackenzie did a great job of raising her children on her own. Our father, Casper, was never around unless it was to get Mama with another child, and then he was off again. I don't ever remember him sending money home to help support what should have been his family, and he definitely didn't when he left our lives after the disaster that was Cody's 5th birthday, when he learned Mama couldn't give him any more children. I'd like that. Cody shuffles her feet in the place at the same time as her gaze drops to the floor. Maybe it's because we're the oldest and have seen enough while helping Mama raise her and Sheridan. But Cheyenne and I share a look and know that something's up with our little sister. Together, we flank her, hook arms with hers, and pull her to take a seat on Cheyenne's pale green bed. That quilt will be taken away as well. What's the matter, Co? We both have a gentle way of coaxing our siblings, even Sheridan, into opening up. But Cheyenne takes the lead on this one, likely because she believes Cody doesn't want to see her go again. You don't know him. Our baby sister finally relents, but refuses to meet either of our gazes. I wasn't that far off. What do you mean, Cody? Cheyenne peels Cody's hands from where she digs them into her pants. Lane, you really don't know him, Cheyenne. How can you just move in with him like that? She asked with a snap of her fingers, marrying him so suddenly. She's heard the stories of the mating call. She knows what it entails and has seen it firsthand throughout her childhood, so I don't understand why she's questioning it now. But she also saw how Mama has lived a solitary life without our worthless father. It doesn't really promote a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't really promote a healthy understanding of how mountain lion shifters find their mates and settle down. The best way to explain it is that it's an instant connection with love that comes just as quick along with trust. Casper Mackenzie is a rare exception. He fits in more with natural mountain lions, where the male leaves the female to care for the young rather than to stay and help raise them like so many of our kind do. Since this isn't focused on me, I remain quiet on the other side while Cheyenne mulls over her words before she finds the right ones to explain. He isn't Casper, Cody. That causes our baby sister to gasp, shocked that she's so easy to read. Oh, how true and false is that at the same time? I know, Lane. It isn't something I can explain until you have experienced it as well. She runs a loving hand down Cody's long blonde hair. Believe me, I was stuck on the possibility he could be like Casper, but then I let go of it like all of us should. Each of us has been scarred by the man who's supposed to be our father. Even though she was 5 the last time any of us saw him, it was enough to leave a lasting bitter impression. That tends to happen when he arrives at your birthday and leaves your mama in tears just an hour later. Come to think of it, that's when Sheridan's little rage episodes began. I've always done my best to trust in fate. My call will come sooner or later. I hope I'm as fortunate as Cheyenne has been. Being arrested for assault aside, she and Lane are an ideal match, as nature intended. And once I figure out who I'm meant to be, maybe my mate will show up.